Right here we have a real beauty. It's a Guild D-50, 1974, and it came in to the shop with super high action. Neck had a little bow, and the first fret was a little high. It actually was loose. I pulled it out and reinstalled it. Leveled the frets, straightened out the neck with the truss rod, and put a set of 12 through 53 strings on it. Diodario phosphor bronze. I think it's the EJ16-3D Diodario phosphor bronze. And what I realized once I strung it up was that the action is really quite nice. I mean, you can play this thing all day long with about 6/64ths on the bass side and on the low E, and 5/64ths on the high E up here at the 12th fret. Then I noticed that the bridge isn't seated completely or properly the way it should be seated. There's a good gap all the way around. So I told him I think I could pop this baby off there and re-glue it, and while I'm at it, shave off another little, 5/1000ths of an inch or something while I'm scraping the bottom of it and pushing it, clamping it back down, and everything might flatten out a little bit, and the belly might go down a little bit, and we might just have a little more comfortable string action when I'm done with it. So I'll get a piece of clear mylar. I guess I'm going to hold it down for here. Just kind of hold it. Don't move around. I'll just draw an outline. Like that. Now we'll come in and cut it out. We're going to cut this baby on out of there, like so. This will try to make a template that's in the ballpark. That's typically all we can ask for, getting into the ballpark. Once you get into the ballpark, we're all set. One thing I do want to be mindful of is to look at the height. The bridge is a little over 1/4 inch thick. It's pretty fat, man. It's pretty plump, pretty stout. The strings are right at 3/8 of an inch above the top. Now the back side of this bridge is pretty stout. You can see it's taller in the back than it is in the front. And I don't know if it's just the belly, but it does appear to be. So I want to take more material off the back. Like I hear Mike McConville and Ted Woodford up in Canada, they talk about doing that, kicking her back a little bit. So that's what I'm going to try to do when I sand it. I'm going to shave a little off the back. It might just be because it's pulling. Let's loosen the strings and see. Now that I know this is a good fit, take this project on down. Right on down. taking her down to the kitchen. I like to use these, I call them tin snips, usually for cutting sheet metal and stuff. They cut through the cardboard real nice. And I come on down here, grab me some aluminum foil. Got her out here on the old guitar vise, and I got my 250 watt heat lamp there. It's up here on a microphone stand. It's extended all the way up, and it's horizontal. The boom arm is horizontal, so I can slide it back and forth. Also give it a kind of a rocking motion there. And again, like some things I picked up from them Canadian dudes, McConville and Woodford, is that it's 7 minutes of heat. I think McConville's the one that says go 7 minutes exactly. See where you're at, give her a little rest, and then go for another 7. But for some reason 7 is the ticket. 7 minutes. So that was 14 minutes. One thing that I try to do is not panic. This mylar really helps get the knife sliding around. Yeah, it's hard to be patient and not completely panic and freak out when you're doing this, when you're waiting for the things to warm up. What I do is I practice deep breathing, kind of a meditation, while I wait, and also while I'm doing these things. Just want to take some deep breaths, relax, and try not to force things. When I make it all about what I want, forcing my will upon things, usually things don't work out so great. So I just let it happen naturally. It's a matter of the heat, the wood, the glue, and the knife. And the weird thing I've found with these, I've got some 150 degree water right here in this syringe. The thing I've noticed with Guild guitars that I've worked on in the past is that they don't use hide glue like Gibson and Martin. They use a white pulpy wood glue, and what I mean by pulpy is that it's I don't know, it's just got something mixed into it, it seems. Some papery product, I'm not sure. Now that I got a little hot water underneath there, I think things are going to start warming up, loosening up. It's just such a weird white, it's a good glue, whatever they used there. 1970s Guild factory, I think they were in Rhode Island or New Jersey. I think they're in New Jersey or Rhode Island. Anywho, you'll see a little smoke coming up. That's alright. Rosewood's oily. You can see little oil beads right there along that dark grain. That the growth ring. The old growth, or the winter month growth, is the darker ones, and then the spring and summer growth is the lighter colored, or the brownish red, and they call that the early wood. I always thought that was kind of funny. Early wood. There's some fine growth rings on this one here. But it really pays off to take the time and make this template that matches the bridge exactly, because I don't have to stress out and worry about ruining and destroying the finish as much as if I would just have, you know, butted up a couple loose pieces of whatever. Like here's some pieces that I use around the neck. It's a real nice fit for the neck. Now you could just take a piece and butt it up against there, and take another piece and butt it up here, and just set your heat down there. So this is twofold kind of idea I came up with, is to make an exact, and then using the Mylar helps me make the exact, but it also, the Mylar helps me slide the knife right in there multiple times without scratching up the wood. So I use the Mylar and I use the cardboard. When it starts to give, it'll feel more like I'm going into like ice cream. Right now it's still pretty tough. This line of work, you're hunched over a lot. Hunched over a bench. It's really bad for the cervical spine. So I went to physical therapy and they gave me some exercises to do that help strengthen those muscles around the spine. And I do those while I'm waiting for the heat to do its work. It's a lot like shoulder blade squeezes and chin tucks and stuff like that. It helps just with the breathing and the patience a little bit. I got a couple spots that are still pretty stuck. Right here in this spot, I'm feeling like it's really starting to go through, and making some progress right there for sure. Yeah. I'll go all the way around this sucker. Before you know it, it'll pop right off. Get some heat on that knife. About 10 seconds or so with this knife. See the water evaporating off of it. And slide that in there. When that hits that glue, it really softens it up. While I'm waiting for the heat to do its work, I like to clean off the knives also with water on paper towels. That way there's no sticky stuff on the knife itself, and that'll hold you back when you got a sticky knife. Yeah, I need to go in from that side, so I'm going to flip this and start working the front side. Starting her up again. I had a total of 21 minutes of heat on there already, but this front edge is still hugging on real hard. The back edge is almost completely off. I just got some real good news too. I just got a text from a local luthier here in Nashville that I did some finish repair work for. There he is again. And it was on a Pelham Blue SG, and the customer just picked it up. He was real happy with it, so that's a relief. You'll be seeing that video if you watch all these. You'll see a Pelham Blue SG finish repair. Most important thing that happened right here today is that this lacquer looks almost as good as the day they put this guitar up for sale back in 1974-75. That was nice. patience pays off. Clean this up, fit it back on there. That's about a $250 repair, actually, if you want to talk about what I charge. $250 plus tax. Now, sometimes it'll be $300. Can even be upwards of a little bit more than that if you have to make a new bridge, or if it has a pickup. I charge more if it has a pickup. $300 if it has a pickup. $250 if it's a virgin. Alright, now I got this cleaned up pretty good. I bought this wood whittling knife that has kind of a concave shape to it that I kind of like for going around the edges. I just kind of hold it with both hands and I go around. I had to trim that down just a little bit, and the concept here is that that cleaned up wood is sitting down just a few mils below the lacquer finish. So I cut that just a slightly bit smaller and laid it down in there to compensate for the difference in height. Now I'll cover it up. Actually, I want to also make a little mark showing me where the center line is. Center line, important. Okay, so we're just going to go straight out. That's the center line. Center line. It's doesn't need to be, 100% accurate. But that's our center line. And there's our protective tape. This is low-tack tape. Low-tack tape. And then the center line between those two, right there. I cut out a piece of sandpaper that I will put some double-sided tape on right now, stick it down on here. I'm standing right on the end of the workbench here, so I can handle this. This is the little handle with a dowel, and when you place that dowel into one of the bridge pin holes, it really helps with maneuvering the bridge back and forth and making this sandpaper do its thing. Sometimes I gotta flip it around and see which hole is best. This situation, I guess, like this will work. This will work. I'm going to go back and forth. Get an idea of where material's being taken off. I shaved down a little right in the center on the belt sander, but I see now that it's hitting here, 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 and here. So I can take my scraper. Normally wouldn't do this right over the guitar, but you take the scraper and speed up the process by scraping slightly on those spots that are hitting the hardest, just so it doesn't take all day. Definitely never want to go right out to the edge, because the edges are exactly where you want the lowest spot to be. That's where you want it to kiss the top the most. After a few, I got it to where there's pretty much sawdust or sanding dust in equal spots. So now I know I'm pretty darn close. These will peel it off and see how it looks. A little piece of mylar came off. Yeah, when I push down in the middle, it looks like it's a nice tight fit. We're ready to glue this baby. I want to wipe it off with acetone and stuff, and then put the tight bond original on there and clamp her up. I'll do a test run with the clamps, clean it with acetone, put the glue down. I'll wax off a couple bridge pins with the carnauba wax, stick them in there so everything lines up nice. I've got the original ones for the guitar right here, but I'll probably just use a couple sacrificial ones. Yeah, it lines up good with not too much slop, so that'll keep things from sliding around. All glued up. Gotta get some paper towels, a little bit of water, and a spray bottle from the spray bottle. Clean up a little glue. Clean up the squeeze out, man. It's a bloody mess. It's a bloody mess, I tell you, man. Clean up the glue squeeze out. It'll be the death of us if we don't. A little cleaning now saves a lot of time later. Got the fan on right now because I just put down that little teeny bead of lacquer right along the edge, and I'm looking at this little line right here. It's more glossy right here between the bridge and this line, and then it gets kind of cloudy right here. I don't know if it's enough to really worry about maybe doing some more like coarse polishing compound before I put the strings on after the lacquer dries, or if I just want to just go ahead and just leave it be, put the strings on and enjoy it. But nice tight fit right around here, and a nice little bead of lacquer all along the edge, looking real good. Still wet. Great news! I decided to put the lacquer on, wait an hour, and then string it up and see what's going on here. And the great news is that I strung it up to pitch, and I'm right at 5/64 on the low E, and well, maybe 4.5/64 on the high E. So, but man, that's exactly what I was hoping for, that I could shave a little bit off that bridge and get that action right where I wanted it. And so far, it's right where I want it. So, I don't know, I might de-string it or detune it a little bit and let it rest and see if it needs another little coat around here. But other than that, I think I'm really, really happy with it.